Today we're going to take what is arguably the best Sega CD game, courtesy of Hideo Kojima of Konami, and we're going to get the run on the NES Classic. This archive here, Snatcher, is 489 megabytes. Obviously that's not going to work on the NES Classic as is. So I'm going to extract this. We'll see how big the end result is here. We have 596 megabyte bin and queue file. First thing I'm going to do is simplify this for the conversion process. I'm going to open up the queue, and I'm going to change the file name to simply Snatcher bin. And I'm going to save that. Now I'm going to rename both the queue and bin to Snatcher. I'm going to use CHD man to do the conversion process. It's excellent compression, on par with 7-zip. I'm going to open up my command prompt, CMD. And I'm doing basic DOS commands. Change directory period would go back to the root of the C drive. That's what I want to do first. Then I'm going to go to the folder structure that I have it in right now, right there. Just change directory in the space. And then the directory I need to go to, which would be ISO RIP. Then change directory to CHD man. Now I'm going to call into play the executable, which would be type in CHD man. Then I'm going to create a CD with a double hyphen. I'm going to put, sorry, it's just create CD, no double hyphen. Then double hyphen for the next part of it, which would be the input. And I'm going to put in Snatcher Q. Then I'm going to make the output Snatcher CHD, which would be what I'm trying to get today. Now I already did this conversion process. It takes a couple minutes to do, especially if you're multitasking. But I'm going to show you the end result of what I got here. And if you previously used PicoDrive, you'll see that I did a different compression type for that. And we're going to see the end result here. This is the folder of all the compressions I've done for this specific game between PicoDrive and Genesis Plus GX. We have the source file, which is 596 megabyte bin. Then we have the PicoDrive full version, which will not run on the NES Classic. It's 506 megabytes. Then, of course, we have the archive I downloaded it in, 489 megabytes. Then we have the new format that I'm using for Genesis Plus GX, 337 megabytes. I did a secondary conversion with better compression settings, and I got it down to 319 megabytes. Then we have the ISO RIP, which is just the standard ISO without doing any kind of crazy extra compression on it, 109 megabytes. Then we have the RIP in CHD format, 48.4 megabytes. And actually, this is what it looks like now. I'm intentionally doing a 337 megabyte file because that's pretty much the magic number as far as what I flash with game-wise to get away with it. We have basically the CSO, which would be PicoDrive format. I got to 54.2 megabyte as a RIP. Then we have the CHD version for Genesis Plus GX that I got to 48.4 megabytes as a RIP. Then we have the full versions that I did for Genesis Plus GX, 319 and 337. But today we're going to flash with the 337 because I have it to the max of what this NES Classic could manage. And there's a few tweaks I did to arrive at this destination. Obviously, you want to clear your extra save states. You can do that through the tools, Save State Manager, and wipe them out, or you can turn on the NES Classic and go to default settings like I've showed in my previous videos, and it will not affect your folder management or the games. It just wipes out your save states. The other thing I did is I opened up this nifty program called Pingu, and I'm going to the directory that these games are in, and I'm taking all the art and I'm going to down convert it to 128. And you see that there's hardly, it's lossless. You cannot tell the difference with the naked eye between this and the original art that is added within Hackshi. And then I would just click go and let them pretty much take them down. I already got them down to this size doing it. 12.7 kilobytes from what it used to be. It used to be 982 kilobytes for the art. And then it down converted into Hackshi once I added it. I'll give you an example of this. We'll add this Snatcher right here real quick. 918 kilobytes. Then I'm going to search for this again. See, it took it down to 60.71 kilobytes. That's still a little bit much, especially if you have thousands of games. But I'm going to use my color settings here. And I'm going to take it to 128. This makes a remarkable difference when you have thousands of games. You can take up to 100 plus megabytes off of your total size just by doing that. And I got myself to about 342 or 3. And the only modules I have installed right now, and I did this intentionally just to see how far I could go with one specific core. I have just 3 installed. I have RetroArch, which I did a naked version with non-FCEUMM and non-Dystopia. This would be for times when you want to run a big game for Sega CD, TurboGrafx CD, Sega Saturn, 3DO, etc. Then I have the Genesis Plus GX, which I'm running these through right now. And then, of course, the dependency BIOS that work with both Genesis Plus GX and PicoDrive. So I have both these 3 things installed right there, and they do not take up a lot of memory. So this takes up 337.2 megabytes total with these modules installed and this bigger game. Obviously, I could use this 319 megabyte one, but I'm intentionally using the bigger one just to see how far I can push this system. I still have 2 megabytes left. And I can do a save state on the game if I need to. Anyway, so we're going to flash this and make sure it goes through. And I'm not using folder management right now. I'm just using right in the main GUI. And we're going to test to see that this plays. And I never owned a Sega CD personally. I never really got to enjoy this game when it was out. But I've heard great things about it. It's a shame that Hideo Kojima pretty much had to step down from his job because, as far as I know, they were pushing him to move towards the mobile phone market, as you know, making games and such, and he just wanted to stick with this 3 to 5 year cycle to put out quality games like Metal Gear Solid 5, etc. And this is also why that game, the new game, was canceled with him. That was removed from the PlayStation Store, and that was a disappointment because I would have loved to see that game. But we're going to have the full version of Snatcher, complete with music, videos, everything. And I'm running the bigger version of it at 337 megabytes, just to see if I can pull it off. And we're going to know in a minute. And I'm going to switch over to the NES Classic as soon as I get the okay here. And if you're wondering about the 5,000 game setup, I do this pretty much similar to the same way, except I have to account for all the extra cores, and I take down my total install size to roughly 250 megabytes to have all those additional cores. So I literally have about 80 megabytes in cores installed to run those 5,000 games. So that transferred over. Let's see if this runs, and we'll get to hear this epic soundtrack that everybody's been telling me about for the game. The moment of truth. Let's see if it runs, or if it gives me a C2, C5, C6, or C7, or C8 error. So far, so good. We have music. Let's hear this epic soundtrack that everybody's been telling me about. And it may surprise you to know that I've never played this game before. I've kind of passed it by, and so many people have recommended it to me that I just had to try it out, and it truly is an exceptional game. Definitely makes a tremendous difference having this stereo quality music, CD quality music. And I've never played this before, so you gotta bear with me while I try to get accustomed to this gameplay.
I'm Gillian Seed. I've been assigned to Junker headquarters effective today.
Oh, you're Mr. Seed. Please forgive me. My name is Mika Slayton. I'm the administrative assistant and operator here at Junker headquarters. Very pleased to meet you.
Yes, the CRT filter hack does work with this setup. It doesn't take up much space, and you can easily install this and use it with this Genesis Plus GX core. Anyways, we have Snatcher running with full CD quality soundtrack, and I showed you how to do it, and it's going to be in my V2.5 set. So hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be more to come.